Alright, this is my first test run as far as webcasts go. Hopefully this works. It should be about 5, 6, 7 minutes long, and hopefully will convey some of the messages and serve as a point of reference and review for you at home. First thing I want to talk about is civilizations. History is the record of human history, the recorded human history. Obviously, human beings human beings have been around for tens of thousands of years. However, recorded history is about 10,000 years, a little less than 10,000 years old, as far back as historians and archaeologists can find. And so, when we begin studying history, it starts off with nomadic hunters and tribes basically hunting and scavenging throughout the land. Humankind and civilization are two different things. Civilization has certain characteristics, and I like to characterize these characteristics very simply for you to remember. Everybody has an iPhone, iPad, iTunes, iPod, whatever the case may be, and I came up with something to help you remember the characteristics of civilization for the long haul, for the entire year, and it's very simple. It's called iTRACS, and iTRACS is an easy way to, easy acronym to remember the characteristics of a civilization. It stands for simply institutions, technology, record keeping, agriculture, cities, and specialization, as you all know from class. Now, I'll elaborate a little bit on these. As far as institutions go, when we're talking about institutions, you're talking about government, a hierarchy where you have perhaps a king, and where you have priests, and you have generals, and where there's a hierarchy of individuals. Also included in institutions is the military, religion, education, any type of educational institution. So institutions, it's important that when you start to see civilizations arise, you see institutions like government, military, and religions arise in civilizations. Next thing, technology. T for technology. Obviously, human beings had come a long way when the first civilization starts springing up in river valleys, and in places like in the Andean mountain range, which was an anomaly, which we talk about in class. You see advanced technology arise, like metallurgy, basket weaving, weapon making, pottery, large monuments like the pyramids, like the ziggurats, bridges, advanced technology as far as granaries. Whenever you see a civilization, you're going to see advanced technologies, and I'll explain what makes that possible here in a second. Next thing you see, next hallmark of civilization is record keeping. Again, I said that history is recorded human history. And it's important to understand that record keeping arose from having to communicate. Having to keep records on how much grain or how much manioc or how much maize was harvested during the year, or to keep count of your military, or simply to track the seasons, and also to communicate to the far-flung regions of an empire like the Incas, or later on the Alexander the Great and his Hellenistic Empire. So record keeping, the first known form of actual record keeping was a wedge-like written form called cuneiform, which the Sumerians first used by taking reeds and making little wedges into tablets, which represented different sounds, and that was your first written form. So record keeping is a hallmark. That I also lump into that language, organized language, into the record keeping, because you have the language first and then some sort of record keeping. Obviously, this also accounts for numerals, some formal way of keeping count or track of things. Then you have agriculture. Agriculture is actually the keystone of all civilizations. See, prior to civilizations, people roamed the countryside following herds. scavenging, and they would go from place to place to place looking for food. It was as if every morning you got up. Imagine now if you had to get up, and the first concern on your mind wasn't, grabbing a coffee at Starbucks or, getting gas on your way. It would be finding out where your breakfast was going to come from. Imagine if every morning you had to go hunt down your breakfast or milk your breakfast or, go out in the forest and look for berries or tubers, whatever the case may be. Agriculture allowed for the domestication of plants and animals so that people could work and live right next to their food. Think about the convenience of that. You walk out the door, there's your grain. Or if you're in the Americas, there's your maize. Or perhaps, as far as the domestication of animals, you have a goat, which provides milk and wool and meat, or a cow or a pig, whatever the case may be. You wanted to be able to walk out the door and there's your food. You might have to kill it, you might have to clean it, you might have to harvest it, shuck it, whatever, but there it is. Agriculture, very important. You do not have civilization without agriculture. That is the linchpin of civilization. Cities are next. Cities are when people come together in complex societies, advanced cities like like Babylon, like Jericho. You start to see the first groupings of cities. Of course, people live in small villages before and nomadic dwellings, but when you see people actually come together and create permanent structures, granaries, temples, apartment type buildings, streets, when you start to see cities, that is a hallmark of civilization. And then the last one, which is very important, is specialization. Once humankind developed a way, or certain civilizations developed ways to grow their food and harvest their animals, not everybody was needed. See, in a nomadic society, everybody's needed to provide energy for the kill. To hunt down a mammoth takes 10 to 15, maybe 20 guys. To track and hunt down elk, it takes a whole tribe moving forward. When you develop cities and when you develop agriculture and the food is right there and it only takes a fixed amount of people to farm the harvest or to take care of the livestock or shepherd the sheep or goats or whatever the case may be, and you have a food surplus, people are freed up to make technological advancements and become potters, become weavers, make weapons, to serve in a military, to develop religion, and to become a scribe and to develop record keeping. So specialization is extremely important to civilization. And you see that in egalitarian societies that you find in South America and Papua New Guinea, which are still stuck in the Stone Age. They don't have specialization. Every morning, everybody in the village, males get up and hunt. The women go find guava in the forest, and the children play bows and arrows. And there's no structure to the society in the sense of a civilization where there's specialization. In the Middle East, in the Fertile Crescent, in ancient Mesopotamia, you start to see specialization where people are metal workers, or those people are farmers. You're a weaver, you're a cloth maker, and you're a shoemaker or a weapon maker, or you build houses. And typically that type of knowledge was not learned at any sort of school. That was handed down from generation to generation. If your father was a farmer, good chances are you were going to be a farmer. If your if your father was a potter, you were, and so on. So you get the idea. So the big idea here is iTRACS. iTRACS. Remember it, learn it. It's the foundation and basic building block for this course for the first month or so. Every time we look at a civilization, every time we look at an empire, all the way up through to today, we're going to look at these. And it'll help us better understand what a civilization is and what it stands for. iTRACS. Institutions, technology, record keeping, agriculture, cities, and specialization. Hope you enjoyed. First installment. Good luck.